Very good morning to all of you, my lovely students. I think all must be okay. Wishing for healthy, wealthy life. So let us start. As for the before class, already we have finished the analog component part, discrete component devices like transistor, oscillator, PN junction. All those are the discrete analog devices. But today we discuss about a IC based analog device, integrated circuit based, not discrete device, that is named as the operational amplifier. So like your transistor amplifier and JFET amplifier, this is also one type of amplifier. But difference is this type of amplifier is IC based and not discrete wise as in case of transistor amplifier and JFET amplifier. So let us discuss some basic features about the operational amplifier first. So basically operational amplifier, which is briefly known as the op-amp. What is the difference from the JFET amplifier and transistor amplifier or any discrete amplifier devices? In case of any discrete amplifier like transistor amplifier or JFET amplifier, in that case you have single input and single output. And in that case your gain is not so high. But op-amp is a such type of amplifier which can give you very high gain, high input resistance, high performance differential amplifier. It is something different as compared to that single stage or discrete wise transistor and JFET amplifier. Even if your op-amp ideally can provide you infinite amount of gain, which is not possible in another case. Also in your normal amplifier, basically your input resistance is very low. If you recall the common base or common emitter circuits, then your input resistance is low state. But in this case, this is a special amplifier whose input resistance is very high, and also all other performances of this amplifier is very good as compared to the other. Accordingly, this amplifier is mostly used in special devices. Now, let us discuss about the symbol of this op-amp. Actually, in analog cases, all devices has a special symbol. In this case also, op-amp symbol is indicated by a triangle, and it has mainly two inputs, which is something different from as compared to other amplifiers like transistor amplifier or JFET amplifier. You have single inputs, only positive and negative. But in this case, and in that case you can apply a single input signal. But this is a special amplifier which has two inputs and you can apply two input signals. One input is indicated by the positive symbol sign and another input is indicated by the negative sign. The input terminal indicated by the positive sign is known as the non-inverting input. And the input line indicated by the negative sign is known as the inverting input. Why we are putting the names like this, I shall tell you later. So overall it has two inputs, one is known as inverting input, another is known as non-inverting input. Then it requires two biasing supply, which is also different from the normal amplifier. The two biasing supply we can indicate by plus Vs or minus Vs. Then it has one output and another output also you can consider depending upon the applications, but another output is the negative. The main output is the positive. Then this is the main requirement for the symbols. In case of a basic symbol, you have to indicate these. One is for the inverting input, another is for the non-inverting input, two biasing supply, one output. Then other leads are the additional leads we can show or we can ignore also. While anybody will ask you the symbol, you must have to indicate over the symbol the 2 terminals, 2 biasing supply and 1 output. Other special leads either you can show or you can ignore. Then its IC, if we consider its IC or pin diagram, so many op-amp ICs are available, and out of these op-amp ICs, the 741 op-amp IC is the most fundamental IC, which has total number of 8 pins, and from this diagram you can check the 8 pins are available and which pin is used for which purpose also indicated over the pin diagram. But it will be better we take a special class on the pin diagram of 741. Only simply here consider the symbol and how that symbol is indicated by the IC form having 8 pins. This much is enough here. One special class I shall take for you about the pin diagram and internal structure of 741 IC. Then let us consider some fundamental features of op-amp. If we consider the basic characteristic of op-amp, we can consider the characteristic on 2 grounds. One is ideal based, another is practical based. Suppose we consider in ideal form. So we get its input resistance is infinite, output resistance also 0, CMRR, which is the most important parameter of the op-amp. CMRR means common mode rejection ratio. This is an important parameter for that indicates the effectiveness or performance of an op-amp. Basically, in case of op-amp, we have 2 gains, voltage gains. One is known as differential mode voltage gain, another is known as common mode voltage gain. And if we take the ratio of difference mode gain to common mode gain, we get the CMRR value. The limit, we can take the definitions and mathematical relations and values for different op-amps in another class. Here, our main purpose is to know about the basic performances or basic features of op-amp or basic characteristics of op-amp. So as per the ideal characteristic, its CMRR is infinite and its voltage gain is infinite, its bandwidth also infinite. All these values are infinite in case of ideal op-amp. But it is not possible to get the ideal op-amp in practical life. Practically, we must gain something different. So accordingly, if we consider the practical op-amp, then we get very high input resistance, very low output resistance, and very high CMRR, and very high voltage gain, very high bandwidth. So why we are taking these informations? Actually, if we consider any amplifier, op-amp amplifier, these values indicates the performance of an op-amp. Basic performance. How we guess that this op-amp is best or this op-amp is bad? So from this input resistance, output resistance, CMRR, voltage gain and bandwidth value, we can determine which op-amp is better and which op-amp is bad, or which amplifier is good and which amplifier is bad. The amplifier having high voltage gain, high bandwidth and high CMRR, these 3 values mainly indicates that op-amp is good. So since op-amp has 2 states, ideal state and practical state, accordingly we have 2 types of equivalent circuit. And if we consider the ideal op-amp, then the input is simply a open path having 2 inputs, and your output side is equivalent to a voltage source having voltage V. But if we consider the equivalent circuit practically, your input side is equivalent to a input resistance and your output side is equivalent to a voltage source series with a resistor. Then next we consider about the internal structure of op-amp. So op-amp is one IC, as I told you in first slide, it is a IC based op-amp. So IC based op-amp means it is not possible for you to break the IC and to see the individual components. that IC will be valueless if you once break it. So accordingly, how we know what are the devices available within that IC? So now let us consider about the internal structure of op-amp, or you can take the heading block diagram of op-amp. As per your semester exam, this may be in the form of block diagram of op-amp. Explain the block diagram of op-amp. So practically, if we consider inside the op-amp IC, what are the stages available or what are the different sections available. So basically within op-amp, we have 4 stages or 4 types of circuits. By the combination of these 4 types of circuit, we are getting the total IC. The first stage is known as the input stage. Then next is known as the intermediate stage. Third is known as the level shifting stage. And the fourth stage is known as the output amplifying stage. So what are the information about each stage? First, input stage. That stage is available nearer to input, accordingly input stage. But what is that input stage? Basically, the input stage is one amplifier. Which type of amplifier? Dual input balanced output differential amplifier. We have 4 types of differential amplifier. One is known as dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Second one is known as dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. Third category is known as single input balanced output differential amplifier. Fourth one is known as single input single output differential amplifier. So accordingly, we have 4 types of differential amplifier. Out of these 4 differential amplifier, our input stage is basically dual input balanced output differential amplifier. In case of dual input balanced output differential amplifier, we have 2 inputs and 2 outputs. 2 inputs are applied and output is collected across 2 terminals. So accordingly, we have 2 input and 2 output. And this amplifier basically amplifies the difference between the 2 input signals. Suppose one input is V1, another input is V2. The input stage output is proportional to V1 minus V2. Or it provides the amplification of difference between the 2 inputs. Since it amplifies the difference between the 2 inputs, its name is differential amplifier. So since it has 2 input, dual word exists. Since it has 2 output, dual input, dual balanced output बोला जाता है. Balanced output differential amplifier. The major amplification of the input signal is provided by this stage. That means our signal is mainly amplified by the first stage. Then the output develops across the 2 output terminals, and that is applied to the next stage, which is known as the intermediate stage. The second stage is also one type of differential amplifier. But the second stage differential amplifier is dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. In case of a dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier, it has 2 inputs. 2 inputs are applied, but the output is collected across any one output terminal to ground. So accordingly, it has 2 input terminals and 1 output terminals. Hence, sometimes the dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier is considered as it converts the dual input to single output. We can consider also that. And in this case, basically the second stage is used to convert the 2 inputs to single output. Major amplification is already provided by the first stage. It simply converts dual to single output. Then your single output terminal is connected to the third stage, which is known as the level shifting stage. Level shifting stage receives the output from the second stage, and its purpose is to adjust the DC level. By chance, the input signal passing through the input stage and intermediate stage, the DC level is shifted or changed. Initial state of the signal should be constant, or DC level should be constant. By chance, due to any reason, our DC level of the signal or initial starting point of the signal will be shifted, that should be returned to the original position unless we get the distortion. That is why level shifting stage is used to adjust or to shift the level of the DC level of the signal to the original level. Then level shifting purpose is only to adjust the levels to the initial state. Then its output is applied to the last stage, which is the output stage, and your output stage is simply nothing but one type of power amplifier. We know, as per the basic fundamental, any power amplifier system last stage is always power amplifier. Power amplifier simply amplifies the power level of the signal coming from the level shifting stage. It increases or it amplifies or it strengthens the power level. And this power amplifier is mostly push-pull type, maybe the push-pull type or maybe complementary symmetry type, because push-pull and complementary symmetry both are the good power amplifiers. So in most cases you get the push-pull amplifier, and so many types of push-pull amplifiers are available: class A push-pull, class B push-pull, complementary symmetry push-pull. So some ICs are using the class B push-pull, some ICs are using the complementary symmetry. But class A push-pull is not good for the power amplification. So this is all over about your internal structure of op-amp. Now see, you may face some doubt in before slide. What is differential amplifier? Already your first stage, as per the before slide, already we have told, first stage is dual input balanced output differential amplifier. So what is that dual input balanced output differential amplifier? Now you can see from this slide the construction of dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Basically it consists of two common emitter amplifiers connected in phase to phase, and two inputs are applied, V1, V2, and two collectors with us. If we collect the output across the two collectors, then the balanced word will come. But if you collect the output across any one collector to ground, then unbalanced word will exist. And if you apply two inputs, dual word will exist. And if you apply single input, single word will exist. So accordingly, your differential amplifier is of four types. One is dual input balanced output, second is dual input unbalanced output, then single input balanced output, and single input single output. So these differential amplifiers are available within your op-amp IC. Sometimes you may get sentence from different authors. Op-amp consisting of number of differential amplifiers, or it consists of combination of so many differential amplifiers. Next we consider important applications of op-amp. The most important, so many applications are available for op-amp. Let us consider some fundamental or basic applications. So as for the important or basic applications, op-amp can be used as the inverting op-amp. What is the meaning of inverting op-amp? Means it is a such type of op-amp circuit that can amplify the input signal, and the amplified output is inverted form of the input. That is why it is known as the inverting op-amp. In this application, your output is amplified version of the input, and will be available in inverted form. So suppose you are applying the input plus Vi, you are getting the amplified version of a Vi, but your output polarity will be negative. That is why the name is inverting. That means your op-amp has the capability to amplify, also invert, inversion property. Then non-inverting op-amp. Non-inverting op-amp amplifier means, in this case your amplified output is proportional to non-inverted form of the input. Means whatever input you are apply, that will be amplified and will be available in same polarity as the input signal. Then it can also be used as a differential amplifier. It is very common meaning. Already we have finished in before slide. While your op-amp will act as a differential amplifier, you have to apply two inputs to two terminals. Always op-amp has two inputs. When we apply the two inputs to two terminals, then its output will be proportional to amplified form of the difference between the two inputs. And in that case, your op-amp will be named as the differential amplifier. But while you are using the same op-amp as the inverting op-amp, out of the two terminal, you have to ground the positive terminal. Only you have to apply the input signal to the negative terminal. Similarly, while you are using your op-amp as the non-inverting op-amp, you have to apply the input signal only to the positive terminal. No input to the negative terminal. Then summing amplifier. Op-amp also can be used as a summer or adder. For example, if you try to add 5 signals, then you can apply the 5 signals to the op-amp and simply it will add and give you the output signal which is equal to the addition of the input. When your op-amp will add simply the inputs, then that is known as summing amplifier or adder. Similarly, you can use your op-amp as the subtractor. Suppose your purpose is to subtract the two signals. Then you can apply the two signals and your op-amp will give you signal that is proportional to difference between the two input. Then differentiator. Also your op-amp can be used as a differentiator. What is the meaning? Suppose you are applying the input Vi to the op-amp. Then your output will be proportional to derivative of the input. That means your op-amp can calculate the derivative directly without any mathematical derivation. Similarly, op-amp can be used as an integrator, and while it will act as an integrator, its output will be proportional to integration of the input. In mathematics, we are calculating the integration step by step by using the formulas. But in case of integrator, simply apply one input signal. You can apply the input signal either to the positive terminal or to the negative terminal, not at a time to both. If you apply the input signal to the positive terminal, that is non-inverting mode. If you apply the input signal to the negative terminal, then that is known as inverting mode. So we can apply the signal to any one. And when we apply the signal to any one input terminal, its output will be integration of the input. And in that case, it is known as the integrator. Similarly, our op-amp can be used as a zero crossing detector. It can detect also. In case of detector, it has to compare some values, and after comparison, it will give you the indication whether your signal is crossing the 0 point or not. While you are plotting the signal, our signal may cross the x-axis or a 0 level. That can be directly detected from the zero crossing detector. So within the zero crossing detector, one comparator type of application is used, and that application is achieved by the op-amp, and by using the op-amp we can detect the zero crossing point. Finally, out of the different important applications, it is not possible to derive all the applications. We can derive each applications class to class. Individually, we can derive the expressions, how we calculate the output and how the circuit functions. Here see one important example out of those applications, how your op-amp is acting as a adder. In this case, see the circuits. Your circuit is under the inverting mode and you are applying so many input signals V1, V2, Vn to the negative inputs, and after derivation we can prove our V out is proportional to V1 plus V2 plus Vn, or we can derive our V out is proportional to V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4 up to Vn. That depends upon how many number of inputs you are applying. So this is one sample example of how our op-amp is acting as an adder. Similarly, In each class, we take one application, we derive and we prove whether our definition is satisfying or not. With this much basic discussions, let us stop today. Our next purpose is to go through in detail about the different applications. So let us stop today. As for the list of your application, first application, how op-amp is acting as an inverting op-amp and why is it known as the inverting op-amp. Detail we can verify and we can prove. So let us stop today.